P2P lending is a relatively new offering, but it does have significant momentum driven by forces such as technological breakthroughs and demographic shifts. Can you talk us through these forces?
Well, the forces have come about largely by big institutions. People in England particularly, and I only know the English market, so I'm talking a bit about England rather than the world at large. People had a relationship with their banks, and the crash 2008, 2010, banks stopped communicating with people, stopped communicating with businesses, and left a gap in the market. Perfectly good people that wanted to borrow couldn't get money. So it wasn't all young people, it was people generally, and investors couldn't get a good return on their money, so they filled the gap. To fill the gap, electronic entrepreneurs with IT developed platforms, and the platforms are designed to match an investor with a borrower, and the two connect, and that's really where it goes.
Great, and now looking at consumers and in particular minimals, they tend to value convenience of transactions online and are less loyal to banks. Would you say these are your prime targets for P2P lending?
That's a beautiful question, and it's completely wrong. Sorry. The people that are borrowing are very often between the ages of 25, which are the millennials, up to age 50, and those investing are 50 off and older. Now, the amounts being borrowed are frequently quite large, so it's the business lending is much, much greater than the personal lending. So some of the business loans out there, the average loan now for business particularly is more than €1 million on average from 10 different investors. At the bottom end, yes, there's a huge number of very, very small loans going out, but what's interesting is over the years people think, if I'm lending my money to millennials, what's the risk? And the bad defaults are now less than 1%. So the market has responded very, very favourably, and investors are getting repaid. So it's a strong market, it's very, very healthy.
Fantastic, and many financial institutions are now beginning to examine the changes on the horizon that P2P companies could shake up the market. The question is, should financial institutions collaborate or compete with P2P lending platforms?
If the institution is far-seeing, and many are, they're doing two things. RateSetter is one of the big P2P platforms. This year, they've raised 11.5 million for that platform from institutions. So the institutions are investing in the platforms are lending to other lending companies and to individuals. So a lot of institutions now are saying, this is good, it's a good idea, we will invest. And they're now beginning to come in and investing in peer-to-peer platforms. So if they're far-seeing, they're doing it. Hate to say it, but the big banks are not getting involved. But the more inventive ones, yes, very involved.